Hi Coppites, welcome to Coppites of Anfield. In this video I want to talk about, this is Anfield's ratings for the game. As I've said to you before, it's unfair that I give my ratings because people just say, oh well, you're favouritising or whatever. But quickly before we get started, so my community tab is there. I always post highlights or clips or documentaries or podcasts or whatever to do with Liverpool, so if you want to go and check that out, I try and post on there as much as I can really. And also in the video description I also post my bio link for all my socials, so if you want to go and check that out, it's got a few people that I follow, like AKMLFC, which is Adam Naylor, Martin, who's got Red Raw LFC. Go and check them two out. You've obviously got my main man Dunk at Cop Talk and our new project Meh United. Go and check them out, give them all a subscribe. I've got my Facebook on there, I've got my X account, I've got my Instagram on there. There's loads of stuff on there. Go and have a look, check that out. But yeah, let's get on with the article. So what this is Anfield do is they do player ratings and a little bit about them, and then they also do a rating for Klopp as well. Slot, a rating for him and what they thought of him as well. I forgot to mention in my video actually before that about Alvarez getting sent off. What an idiot he is! Absolute idiot. You're on a yellow card and you go and tackle like that. Absolute idiot. He cost his team for me. He made them get the whooping because they were all right until he got sent off. So, Kelleher, they give an 8. It says nothing he could do about the opener, though he had already been beaten by Danny Ings offside on that occasion. Nothing else to do in the first half in truth, but after the hour mark was busier. One brave block when he came rushing out, then had to do well positioned to palm away a low strike towards his near post from range. Also thwarted Kilman from close range in another display that showcased what a luxury it is to have him as a number 2. Connor Bradley, 7. A couple of decent defensive interventions, including a backwards header at the far post from Bowen Lurkin. Going forward, he hasn't really shown that immense power and acceleration we saw in his breakthrough days, but he passed well into feet and showed up when Chiesa needed backup. Did well with the run for the final goal too, crossing low before Salah's strike thankfully. He was on form from a defensive perspective, as most of the rest of the back line was not. Joel Kwanzaa, 6. First start since the opening day of the season, and the young defender marked the occasion with an unfortunate own goal. The ball deflected off him into the net from an attempted clearance. Not always the tidiest outing from the centre-back, who was booked for hauling down Antonio and caught a couple of times by balls in the channel. Perhaps guilty of trying too hard, having lost his place in the side to Ibrahim Konate. Joe Gomez, 7, another making his first start of the season. So our defence centre-backs weren't exactly in rhythm. It showed with Gomez, who was captain of the night, just as much with Kwanzaa. He made perhaps fewer errors and did show signs of improvement in the second half, but his use of the ball wasn't great, especially when we were under pressure later on. Kostas Tsimikas, 6. Good for him to be getting some semi-regular game time recently, and he looked fairly sharp for it in the first half. Plenty of overlaps and attempts to get into the space down the left. In the second half though, it looked like he had won a raffle out of position twice, once for a big chance, then missed 2 tackles and stopped short of the ball in quick succession. Still deserves man of the match for an attempted diving header, block, slide, tackle in the 6-yard box though. Tried to smother the ball like a grenade hero. Wataru Endo 7, another making his first start of the campaign. There's not much Endo can do in fairness. If he's not the profile the manager wants, there's not much scope for altering his game at this stage of his career. Still, he put the effort in and got through plenty of challenges, used the ball sensibly enough and kept going after taking a whack to the ribs. Curtis Jones 8. Brilliant winding run after half-time to move from his own penalty box to West Ham's, then laid in a pass for Jota to score. Almost netted himself on the hour, running behind the flicking one, which just lacked a bit of power. In and around all that, he was extremely neat, dealt well with the ball in his own defensive third and kept up the supply line for those ahead of him. A very decent outing. Tempted to take a point off him for giving his jersey to a kid who had a "can I have your shirt" sign, but we'll let him off. Federico Chiesa 7. Notched his first assist for the club with his half volley into the ground, headed in by Jota. A few glimpses of the brilliance and ingenuity he can provide, starting wide right, popping up to the opposite channel too. Got a good hour of running and working in his system, inching him closer towards being a regular selection consideration. Diogo Jota 9, man of the match. Given a roving number 10 role, mostly a second forward, but on occasion dropping back in, naturally looked a little lost in build-up play to start with, but his movement is so good, he still got involved plenty and was right place at the right time to nod in a brilliant equaliser. That was Jota at his best, eager and alert in close proximity of goal, and brave too, with a header in front of the keeper. His second half goal was a smoothly taken finish on the move, the sort which had been missing for a few games beforehand. Gakpo 8, the liveliest of the front four in the opening stages, in making a few mazy runs in possession, as well as having a left footer deflected just wide, rather than his in-running role of most games. He struck largely to the flak for the night, pulling the defence wide to create space for others and drifting over a few crosses. A bit of team tactics performance rather than an individual one, which is no bad thing at all. If he faded from the game in the second half and missed a rebound shot late on, his best moments came late. A trademark cut-in and power drive, beaten out by the goalkeeper before the same ended in a rifled strike inside the near post for the Reds' fourth, and the deflected fifth followed a minute later after a great run. Darwin Núñez 6, along with Kelleher, the only starter who also started last weekend, but he was totally unable to get into the game, which wasn't quick enough for him to thrive on balls in behind, with his first touch and link play not quite up to scratch. The Uruguayan was therefore on the periphery. Some decent defensive work from the front in the first half, but not a performance to keep him in the team, particularly for Jota's brace tonight. Kept working and assisted Gakpo. So with the subs, I'm just going to tell you the ratings. I'm not going to read everything. You can go and have a look yourself on This Is Anfield. So they give McAllister an 8, who came on for Jota on the 58th minute. They give Morton not applicable, who came in the 82nd minute for Endo. Robertson 82 as well, not applicable for Simicast. Subs not used: Yaros, Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Szoboszlai and Diaz. So they've rated Slot a 9. Rotated heavily with 9 changes. Just the top and tail of the team left in place. And as they haven't been starters, it was more than reasonable to do so. Got game time for those who needed it. Was able to manage minutes where he wanted. Didn't have a face like a smacked arse all night, which immediately makes him better than the man in the opposite dugout. Perhaps some surprise that Slot didn't involve the odd youngster like Trainione, and Tyler Morton barely got a kick. But it's hard to argue against a comprehensive win when so many changes were made anyway. So yeah, that's what this is Anfield made of it. I tend to agree with a lot of it. I thought Gomez wasn't as bad as what they made him out to be. I know but the thing is, what do you expect? You know, players, you can't expect to be straight at it without playing games. You know, there's fit in there, which the players are all fit, but then there's match fit, which is completely different. But yeah, but that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. That's it for now. Take it easy.